Well, g'day and welcome to Big Bike Adventures. Well, it's 2nd of January 2017. I'm sitting on a box in my backyard with my two XRs, and I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. I've been very remiss, haven't done a ride video since I came back from the trip to Phillip Island, that video series that we did then, so I thought it was about time I get one done. I haven't done a video because I've actually had to do quite a lot of travel for my job, and I have relocated to a new house, so kind of took up quite a bit of time and made my life a little bit more hectic than it needed to be through the Christmas New Year period. But that doesn't mean I haven't been riding, it just means I haven't had time really to sit down and make some videos. So yeah, I've got my two XRs. I know what you're thinking. VFR1200 X Crosstourer is not an XR. Well, you know, you put some knobbies on it and you know, you can ride it off-road like an XR and it behaves like an XR. It's actually a really, really good off-road bike. And then of course there's the veritable big red pig, the Honda XR650, and I love both of these bikes. This one I've spent quite a bit of time on over the last few weeks, just running around, just looking at places that, you know, I haven't been to before, exploring new tracks and places that probably a little bit too technical for the Crosstourer. The Crosstourer is just a bit too big for some of the places where I can take that. Went and saw some really amazing scenery, lookouts, Tommy's Rock Lookout, you know, the old Convict Tunnel on Grafton Road. I've done it before on that one, but you know, just it's nice to blast through the tunnel and do wheelies around the place and carry on like a hoon. It's great. If you remember my video that I did from the Phillip Island series where we went down to Phillip Island to the MotoGP, you remember that I blew a fork seal on that side and had quite a lot of oil leaking out of that. It's really interesting the difference between the two fork types, the two suspension types. Upside down forks obviously are very common on modern motorcycles because the staunchions, the actual thick part of the fork, is a lot stiffer, and so connecting that to the bike makes the bike a lot stiffer. Some talk about unsprung weight, just better performance from forks, but rigidity is one of the key things. The not upside down forks, the normal forks, the right side up, I don't know, what do we call them? The right side up forks are designed to flex, and particularly on the XR, you know, the flex that comes from that 30 centimetres of travel and having the staunches down there, don't worry about the wiring and stuff, I'm messing around with the Trailtech sensor. But the staunchions down there, that's the thick part, the thinner part is up top, and you know, you've then got this frame that's designed around the forks, and the whole thing is designed to flex and work together. And you know, the suspension on this is world famous. It's, you know, it's a fantastic bike. It's got a whole heap of amazing attributes, and the suspension is one of them. So the other key difference between these types of forks is that when you blow a fork seal on these, the oil actually stays down inside the tube of the staunchion. It actually stays down inside there. And you get a little bit of weeping around the top of the fork seal. The converse is completely true of this, and as you saw from the video, the whole side of the bike and the disc and everything was just covered in oil. And what eventually happened was that all the oil in the right hand tube, sitting on the bike, there's the left tube there, but it was the shut up. So all the oil drained out of that went all over the bike, and that meant that there was actually no lubricant left inside the fork. So when I came back, I had the fork. I was going to upgrade the suspension anyway, but took the forks out of the bike. Not that hard a job actually, really, really easy. The forks are tapered, so they slide in and out really easily. The wheel comes out. It was a nice, easy job. I was actually quite pleasantly surprised how easy it was to pull the forks out. I took them down to a guy that does all the suspensions on all my bikes. I've had increased spring on the back of that. I've got a Wilbur's Black Edition on the back of this one, and I've got some Wilbur springs and Racetech Gold valves in this one now. So I've upgraded the suspension. This now, traditionally the Crosstourer has a undersprung and over dampened, so you get quite a lot of sag, and it's quite quite stiff. Now the reason for that is the valves in it are just, they've got the tiny little holes, and there's not enough fluid transfer, and they're undersprung obviously, because a lot of these bikes, particularly the Japanese ones, are designed for guys that are 70 or 80 kilos, and I'm not. So I've got heavier rated springs, so Racetech gold valves in there, so that's given me a lot better dampening, a lot more control over the dampening as well. So the bike actually rides really, really well now. I haven't had it off-road with those new forks on, but riding it on-road, the characteristics of the bike are so much better. It just handles so much better now. It just turns in, suspension through corners, it's just a lot more settled, a lot more stable. It's a really, really nice ride, and it matches the back end as well, because when I did the suspension upgrade on the rear, it actually made a massive difference to the bike. So it's well matched now. The bike's really well balanced. Haven't done a lot of Ks on it with the new suspension in, but the riding that I have done, I've just noticed a marked improvement. That's really what I wanted to make the video about, was actually the process of upgrading the suspension and the things that I learned. One of the things I learned is because when you've got a fork like that, you don't really think about it too much as you're riding. When you've got a fork like that, although they're not technically superior or more rigid or the preferred option of modern bikes, the advantage of having the forks with the oil bath down the bottom is that you actually don't lose your oil. With this one here, when you lose all the oil, and I did 3,000 kilometres after I realised that the seal had gone, so I rode from Canberra down to Phillip Island, from Phillip Island all the way home again, and basically all the dampening in the bike was being done by the other fork. Because I ran the fork dry, because all it's upside down forks, the seal failed, it actually scored the bushing inside the tube. So rather than just doing a normal spring and valve replacement, I actually had to do all the new bushes and everything in the forks as well. So it just added a level of complexity to the change. I'm really, really happy with that now. So that's a great ride now. Not much more I can do to that bike. I'm going to be doing some rides over the next few months. I've actually got quite a few rides organised for this year. For 2017, it's going to be a busy time on the bike, which means a busy time for editing videos and putting up some big bike adventures. Alright, thanks for watching and Happy New Year, and I look forward to catching up with you further on in 2017, and wish you all the best for it, and ride safe. See you later.